and do that, and then we do actually, why is it? Oh, wow. But everyone on Facebook, I apologize. It started without me, so I'm going to have to edit this at the end, but I'm glad you're all here, and we'll just go into it.
Welcome to Beyond Belief, the art of strange mentalism, with your host, Tommy Burnett. Today's guest is Mr. John Keever. And now, your host, Tommy Burnett.
Yeah, all right. So, and again, I forgot to put on, we're good? No, we're good. All right. Good to see everybody. Thank you for coming back again for the art of strange mentalism. I'm Tommy Burnett, your host, and today we have a very great show. A friend of mine who I recently met, and one of the people who bought my book. What? Somebody actually bought my book, and he's here. No, he's, he's not here to talk about that. He's here to talk about himself. But and I'm very glad he's here. He's a very interesting guy, as far as I can tell, and we're going to learn a little bit more about him right now. Let me bring him up, and there he is. Hi,
All right.
John.
Hey, thanks very much, Tommy. Interesting guy as far as you can tell. Okay, well,
Well,
I'll take that.
yeah. No,
All
I
right.
mean, yeah.
Yeah. Well, all
Yeah.
right.
Go
So
ahead.
a little bit about who I am. So when I describe myself, I'm going to try to look more at the camera and less at the monitor here. But when I describe myself as a writer, a magician, and a wizard at large. I'm a writer because I make my living as a writer, made my living as a writer for about the past 2 decades, specifically writing financial copy or long form direct response copywriting. I currently am working for a small firm that it's a little wealth strategist firm, and they're sort of in the insurance space. They're not sort of, they they posit a kind of a wealth strategy that begins with a foundation of life insurance and things like that. But don't worry, I am not a life insurance agent, so I won't be selling you anything. But anyway, that's where I'm working now, and I promote their newsletter and things like that. Actually, I write their newsletter and all of their marketing collateral. Now, as a magician, though, I've been a magician my entire life. Fascination that began probably before I was in the first grade when I saw a magician on Mr. Ed, of all things. Wilbur belonged to a magic club. And so he brought in some magicians, and they had like a show one time where it was just a sort of a parade of magicians like you'd see at the Magic Club doing their thing. And they had a gentleman there that did like a ring and string routine that I still remember from when I was 5 or 6. Amazing. And of course, I didn't understand what was going on at the time, but I knew that I was watching something that was different and interesting. So it just sort of stuck with me. And then when I was 9, I got the Marshall Brodeen Magic TV Magic Kit, and the hook was set, and I was never been the same ever since. Been performing ever since. Um, let's see here. Now, however, when you get a little vintage on you, then things start to change. You're no longer, I think, in my opinion, you're no longer the person that is the young, ambitious magician chasing gigs and trying to and being everywhere. You start to morph or start to shift and change more over into a role of like a mentor type thing. For a couple of years, I was the past president and vice president and then president of the Tampa Magic Club at ring 175 of IBM. And I sort of embraced that mentorship role in that particular position. And I started to kind of lean into more or less the wizard role and becoming more of the wizard in that phase of my magical life. And then out of the blue, I received my 10-year wizard pin from IBM. So it's official. I'm a wizard. The IBM said so. Now, aligned with that identity, the wizard identity, last year I started my own newsletter called Coffee with a Wizard. It's on Substack, Coffee with a Wizard. I'll talk more about that later. It's completely free, but I do have a newsletter, and that gives me the opportunity to kind of lean into more of the esoteric topics and subjects. Like I just put out an article yesterday on the Emerald Tablet. And I don't know if you're familiar with the Emerald Tablet. It's one of those, it's basically the foundation of Hermetics and Hermeticism, attributed to Hermes Trismegistus. It contains its core or essential tenet is the as above, so below thing. So it's pretty significant. I wouldn't call it, I guess it's not really a literary work because it's only 14 sentences, but it's pretty significant in Hermetics. Now, as a magician, I appreciate classical magic. I mean, I still do linking rings and all of that. And as far as, and I do rope tricks and things with scarps, and just like everybody else. As a matter of fact, part of my everyday carry is a piece of rope. I mean, I'm sure, and I mean, you can do just a million things with rope. I mean, and I carry a red silk scarf, and I also carry a magic wand, because really, are you even a magician if you don't carry a wand? Now, you may say to yourself, but why would a mentalist carry a magic wand? Well, I'll tell you why. You see, a magician asked, why is there a tip on each end? And they answer because the tip is where you keep the little red ball. And that's ball, hand, place the ball into the hand, wave the wand, and the ball vanishes. A mentalist, on the other hand, understands that the tip on both ends refers to the principle of correspondence, as above, so below. As above in the heavens, so below the physical plane. And that dynamic is where all of creation comes from. Anyway, so that would be one reason why you would carry a magic wand. But as far as everyday carry goes, I got a couple of, where's my everyday? Oh, everyday carry. I'm carrying it, as a matter of fact. So I also carry a wallet. Now, this is not a fancy, I guess I can say peak wallet. I'm not going to say what it is. It's not a fancy mentalist wallet. It's just a very simple plastic, just a very plastic packet trick wallet. And inside I have some regular playing cards. And on the other side, I've got color money. Just kidding, I don't have color money. On the other side, I've got ESP cards, 10 of them, because to a mentalist, 10 ESP cards might as well be an entire deck of cards, because you can do a million things. And in just a little bit, I will do some of the things I do with these cards, but I'll use bigger cards so we can see what's going on. Now, I got some notes here too, because I've never done this before. Okay, so I believe that mentalism is sometimes it's criticized for sometimes being too straight a line or being too bold. And I think, and my personal feeling by that is that I believe that the stronger your premise or your frame, then the bolder your method. And I think that ties to a separate issue of, if a large frame means, like, let's say you have a trick that has like multiple procedures, like one of those number things that's like take a number, divide, multiply by 5, add 5 or whatever, and do all this stuff. And to some people might look at that and say, well, that's a children's trick. You shouldn't do anything like that, or it's too simplistic. But if your frame is large enough or your premise is big enough, for example, if you tie that to a larger issue like goal setting, then you can show how all these steps relate to something else. And then you can show how you can compress them. Then you take a simple trick or with a very bold method and you turn it into something amazing. So. As a matter of fact, going back to bold methods again, I have a note, sorry. So when you go back to bold methods again, you can take if your frame or if your premise is big enough, if people believe that you can do what you say, you can literally take a book, open the book up, look at the top line, hand the book to them and say, hey, scan the page and then divine it right in front of them. And it'll work because they're not looking for a trick. But your frame or your premise has to be big enough or it's not going to work. As a matter of fact, in Tarbell 3, there's a bill divination that is almost that exact thing where you're taking the bill and peeking at it and doing what you have to do. It's pretty simple. Now, let's see, I wasn't really planning on doing a whole, like a lecture, but do you have any questions before I go on, Tommy? Because believe me, I can talk forever.
Well, I mean, you talking saves me time and money.
Okay.
So,
All right. So I will talk some more then. All right. So as a matter of fact, let me back up a little bit because I got a little nervous there for a second. Coffee with a Wizard. Let me just talk about my newsletter real quick. Coffee with a Wizard. This is a place where I explore the philosophical side of reality. What I call it is I say I explore the hidden architecture underlying reality. It's a free weekly metaphysical newsletter, and it contains like hermetic ideas and symbolic thinking and things like that. And if you guys are interested in it, you can get it. It's for free. It's on Substack. It's at coffeewithawizard.substack.com. That's coffeewithawizard.substack.com. Let's see. In performance. Okay, yeah. And here's why I think it would be interesting for mentalists or other performers or mystery performers in particular is it's this. You can get away with a lot. Eugene Berger used to teach that you could get away with a lot when it comes to bizarre magic and or even just mystery entertainment just by using a word like the spirits. That was his thing. It's like there's no way I can know what your card is, but the spirits know, and that's all he'd have to say. And that works in performance. But where it doesn't work is later on after the performance and people are talking to you. Because if you do something that's interesting, I mean, I've done card tricks where at the end of it, they're like, well, do you do readings? And it's like, I just showed you a card trick. You think I mean, that's totally different. But anyway, it's like if you do something that is interesting at all, then people are going to wonder, well, is there more depth to this? And so my newsletter looks at some of these topics so in more detail, so that way you're better informed, and that after you've made a performance, if they ask about it, you can speak about it intelligently. And I think that's important. So as a matter of fact, so we talked about EDC a little bit. So let me just, if I don't mind, I think I'll probably relax a little bit if I just do a piece of magic.
Okay, sounds great.
All right, good. I'll do a little piece right now. So. All right. Now, I did say that in my EDC, there's some playing cards in here. So these would be the playing cards, but I like to use bigger cards on Zoom so everybody can see what's going on. So I'll just. Okay. All right. So we talked about frame. So here's the frame for this. The supernatural or the paranormal is often explained away by the skeptics or the muggles as simply coincidence or luck, as if those two qualities or conditions somehow diminish its significance. Interestingly, both coincidence and luck share the common element of randomness or random outcomes. And I'll show you what I mean. We're going to explore that particular element of randomness in this test because really, is anything really random? Even random number generators use an algorithm. So it starts with some cards. And what's important about these cards is the number. So let me move this back so you can see it. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cards. Coincidentally, 7 is a lucky number. See what I did there? Now, Tommy, there are 2 piles. A, B. Pick a pile.
A.
A, okay? This is your pile. I'm going to place it right on top. If you would have said B, different order, different order. Now I'm going to create some more piles just by drawing some cards off. There's 1. There's 2. There's 3. We have 1 card left over, which I'm going to place right off to the side. Right there, you'll see it'll be there the whole time. Now, 3 piles. 1, 2, 3. In a moment, I'm going to pick up one of these piles and insert it inside another. 1, 2, 3. Which one would you like me to pick up?
2.
2. And which one would you like me to insert it inside?
1.
1. This one here.
Yep.
All right. Watch carefully as it goes unmistakably right inside and out the slot in the back. Just kidding. Now we take everything and we put it right inside the last pile, just like that. Now, back to where we started with 3 piles. Of course, if you would have said different piles, different order. Now I can gather these from my right to my left, or from my left to my right. What would you like to see?
From your right to your left.
From my right to my left. Different direction, different order. Make 2 piles this time. This time, right over left, left over right.
Left over right.
My left over right? Okay.
Yep.
Just like that. Now, Tommy, we come to the most important decision of all. And believe it or not, on some alternate timeline, you've already made that decision. And I think that's in your book. Anyway, something like that. You've already made that decision. So here's that choice. A round of 3, I can deal a round of 2, like before, or I can deal a round of 0, which means we don't do anything. So 3, 2, 0. What do you pick?
Bill, what do you think? 3. Okay.
3. Okay. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And again, right to left, left to right. My left to right, or my right to left.
Let's do sorry, but I can't tell what that is.
That's why, I'm saying my right to left, or my left to right.
Yeah, so go your right to your left.
My right to my left. Okay. Yeah, that's why I just use from my perspective, because you can never tell with Zoom anymore.
Right, exactly.
Okay, good. All right. Now we're gonna make the final decision. We're right down to the wire. I've dealt 4 piles, but of course I only have enough cards to cover 2 of them. So we'll just work with those 2 piles. Right over left, left over, right over left, left over right. My right over left, that is, my left over right.
Your left over right.
Okay. We'll just move that together. Outstanding. We'll just draw off a couple here for another pile, just like this. Now, all along, we're right back to where we started from. Haven't gotten anywhere. So all along, we have been demonstrating or exploring the element of randomness or random outcomes. But the question in the very beginning was, is anything truly random? Well, let's see. Oh, good. That looks good. All right. I have a 2 and a 5. Coincidentally, 2 plus 5 is 7, lucky number. Here I have a 3 and a 4, 3 and a 4, 7. And here we have a 6 and an ace or a 1, 7. That's 7, 7, 7, which means this card can only be a 7.
7.
Like that. Now,
Yeah, fun.
now, uh, what I like about that is part of my everyday carry. What I like about that is simply it's one of those things that it takes. This was a simple self-working thing. I think it's actually in Tom Morris's Verbal Magic. It's either in that or it's in one of the impossibilities book, but I think it's in Verbal
Yeah,
Magic. And
yeah,
yeah, it's very simple thing. But there's two things about it that I like. First off, against a larger frame, which is a point I was making in the beginning, probably very poorly, but that point I was making about if you have it against a larger frame, you can get away with simple tricks because it still looks interesting. That's an interesting coincidence at the
yeah,
end. And then the other thing is I do everything I can to take things out of the hands of participants. Now, I know there are others that say, well, if it doesn't happen in their hands, it's not magic. But I don't believe that. I believe if it does happen in their hands, a lot of times it's not magic, not because because it just doesn't work out, or
right.
And I'd rather not give somebody that opportunity to mess it up. Not that they would on purpose, it's just it happens. So rather than give them that opportunity, I'd rather be in control. So when I take magic, I rework it so that it's strictly I'm in control the entire time. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't recommend that for everybody, but that works for me. And the other thing I like is when you do something like that, then the cards are all mixed up at this point because a lot of times they think to themselves, well, obviously those cards are in some kind of special order. So you can take them and they're already mixed up. You can hand them to somebody else to mix up, and we can do something else with them very simple. Uh, Works like this. First, I need a 2. Hey, look at that, a 2. All right, I just held that back. I was just messing around. But anyway, I need a 2. So we'll find the 2. There's the 2. And I'm just going to count, or not even count, spell. T, W, O. I need a 3 this time. So we're going to find a 3. And we're just going to spell T, H, R, E, E. Now, at this point, we're going to remove some cards, begin eliminating cards. We'll just take a couple out, put them down here, and we need a 4 this time. Because we're eliminating cards, we'll just stay right where we are and count F, O, U, or spell R, 4. And hey, look, 4. It's a coincidence. Okay, from here, we'll go ahead and remove some cards. And we're down to, looks like 1, 2, 3 cards. Again, we'll take some cards out. And we're down to a single card. Any idea what this card is?
No.
No. Well, it's a 3 of spades. Now, in the beginning, of course, we were examining the quality of randomness and whether or not anything was random. And I guess not. Now, you can probably see that backwards, but 3 of
Oh,
spades.
oh, familiar with it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is from a set of notes by Alon New. Lon New came to our Magic Club back in was it January or February? Anyway, did an amazing job. Spoons were bent all over the place. Just an incredible performer. I really like him, so I super enjoyed that show. I was fanboying out the whole time. It was kind of embarrassing,
Oh,
but it was a lot of fun.
he's a good guy. I've had
Yeah,
him on
good
my,
guy.
I've had him on my other podcast.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, he's good. I like him.
Yeah.
That's related. Let's move this out of the way now. Okay, so all right, so that was fun. Now I feel a little more relaxed. Got some magic out of the way. So I have a question for you now, Tommy.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah. Do you believe now? Do you actually or honestly believe in psychic ability or the supernatural or the paranormal in any capacity?
absolutely.
Okay, good. I'm great. I am encouraged by that because for me, and I think it just blows my mind when magicians, especially magicians that do mental magic or mentalism or even strange type things, when deep down they're not really believers at all, and they're in fact skeptics, and may even preface what they do by telling everybody, this is an illusion or something like that. Um,
Yeah.
I think it was Lee Earl that said that there's just no market for a fake psychic, and so I
Mm.
personally, if I'm pressed, I think I'm less interested in whether something is psychic and more interested in how like human perception constructs meaning and that kind of thing. And I
Mm.
and I but if I'm pressed, I lean towards being a believer and even something of an experiencer. I believe that the human mind is far more sensitive than we understand. But as a performer, my responsibility, not necessarily to prove powers, but it's to explore perception and explore certain dimensions, like, for example, coincidence and randomness and, synchronicities and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But so I do have a bit of a ghost story that I want to tell.
Okay.
And yes, it goes like this. This is now first off, this is not the setup for a trick. This is an actual thing that occurred when I was a young person. So imagine it's 1972, 1973. It's a long time ago. I was pretty young. Um, and we lived in this house, a little small house that was in South Tampa, just a few blocks from the air base, from McDill Air Force Base. And we were there for well, a couple of years, and there was this little place. It was off like a main road that was like a brick road. It was actually McDill Avenue, I guess, McDill Avenue, or Boulevard or something. I think it was Avenue, but it was like red brick road, and off of that red brick road, there was a little dirt road, and our house was right off of this dirt road. And then there were a wooded area behind us, like 5 acres of woods. I'm not going to say I accidentally set those woods on fire one time, but I accidentally set those woods on fire one time. I was like 9 years old, so I didn't get in any trouble. just got to, just got scared to death. Anyway, but it bordered this wooded area, and this house this house was haunted. And when I say haunted, I mean there was like poltergeist activity that went on there. It's like when I saw the movie Poltergeist, like many years later, I'm thinking, yeah, I can relate, because what we had in this particular house was we had things would move, books would come out of the bookcase, the windows would come unlatched, the doors would open, and a light and lights would come on, and then something else. And so, and I mean, this happened. This isn't one of those things where I heard some person told me. I lived there. And so, and it happened. So it happened, and it was so frequent. It happened so frequently that we had family members that would not spend the night in our place. They would be over in the evening and something would happen, and they're like, gotta go. They would not spend the night. We had one time, it was, I guess, a distant cousin of mine, like third, fourth, twice, whatever it is, just a very distant cousin. He'd been in Vietnam. So this guy had been in Vietnam, had seen all the atrocities over there, and he was at our place, and it was nighttime, and so it was at the point where everybody's going to bed, right? So everybody's going through the house, locking everything up, turning out the lights, going into their rooms. No sooner had everybody got into the rooms when all of a sudden you heard click, 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 bam. And it was like, what in the hell? What in the world was that? Everybody gets up, goes out of the room. All the lights are on, all the windows are open. There were books out of the bookcase on the floor, and the back door was wide open. And it was like that guy, that night, this guy who'd been to Vietnam slept in his car. he would not go back into that house. I mean, there was so much stuff there. And one night, um, when it comes to the paranormal stuff, I have always been into it. So one night, my mother and I, we decided we're going to get the Ouija board up. We had this old Ouija board we had for years. We're going to get this board out and we're going to figure out what is going on, or we're going to, just figure out. And I'm like 9, I guess. I was about 9 years old. And so the place is all dark. We had the Ouija board out, and it took like an hour. And then it wasn't anything like you see in the movies. It took like an hour just sitting there in the dark. And we were first off, asking the question, is there like a spirit in this house? Is there an entity in this house? Is there something in this house? And finally, it's just eased over to where the yes is. I mean, it just took forever. And so, okay, it's on the yes. And then so we're at fine. What's your name? So try to figure out what the name was. And at some point, it just eased over to where the T was, and then it was off the board. So all we ever got was, and I mean, we must have been there an hour. We got a yes and we got a T. So from that point on, we just referred to it as T. And if there was anything that went on in the house, then here I keep looking at them. Anything that went on in the house, we would say, okay, it must be T's, out there, doing stuff again. And then at one point, my dad he'd been in the military and got out, and then he got back in again. So when he got back in, he got orders to go to North Carolina. So that's when we moved out of that place. We went to North Carolina to Camp Lejeune. I went to high school at Camp Lejeune. So we go to Camp Lejeune, and on the way there, we spent the night in this little hotel in South Carolina. And so, everybody's been on the road and everything, and everything, everyone's in the bed and all this stuff. And I go, and we asked her, gee, I wonder if T followed us. And that time, blip, the lamp came on. The lamp came on. This lamp was plugged in, other side of the room. Nobody could get to it. It came on, and I was like, I don't believe it. Now, at that point, I think I was 10, but yeah, the lamp came on. Now, I know that everything that occurred in that house, and there was other things. One night, my dad actually fought with a light being, middle of the night, struggled with a light being. And but I guess what we would probably call today or refer to today as like an orb or something like that. But it was a large body of light of some kind. And it wasn't that he was struggling with it. It came into the bedroom, and he was batting at it and swatting at it and all this stuff. And he even fell. He fell in the hallway chasing this thing down. And so that everybody got up to see what the hell was going on. But so I mean there was actual manifestations and activity that occurred in that place. So a lot of my early beliefs were formed by some of the occurrences that happened in that house, in the sense of where you not necessarily know what's going on, you just know something is going on.
Mm-hmm.
Now, so on that night in South Carolina, the lamp came on. It's like I'm 99 and 44 100% sure that was a real thing and not like my dad playing a trick on us or something like that, which could have been. I mean, I'll leave that door open, because for the skeptics, it could have been. He was a bit of a trickster at times, but he was not. I mean, there was no way he could have. And I question. I mean, as an adult, I would say, a lot of what I believe is formed by some of the experiences that we had in that house and then thereafter. And I just want to know for certain that, this wasn't you. You didn't do this. I know he didn't do any of the stuff in the house, but you didn't do that night in South Carolina. He's like, nope, did not. So I believe him. Anyway, so aside from that, but then I'll tie that up with one little in bow here. Then years later, I joined the Navy. I'd been over to Okinawa. I'd been everywhere. I come back after I did my 4 years. I was like, okay, that was fun. I'm done. So I did my 4 years. I come back to the States. I'm in Tampa, down in South Tampa somewhere, living not far from where this house was. And I gotten work at this little office supply place, and we're selling copier machines. Well, I say selling copier machines. I never sold any. I was terrible at it. It was a horrible job. You walk into somebody's office and you're like, "Hey, I'm with the office supply. I'm the Sharp and Panasonic representative for this area." And they're like, "Get out of my store!" So, but it was terrible. So I didn't last there very long. So one day I was in the sales office, just shuffling my business cards, pretending to look busy, and I think I was 20 something, and the sales manager was there, and he had never really cared for me. And he's on the telephone, and he's ordering up. He's talking to contractors, and he's ordering he's ordering some work being done at his house, and he mentioned the address. And it was my address. It was that address from when I was a little kid at that house. I mean, it was the exact address. I couldn't believe it. And so I said, I mean, talk about one of those little synchronicities in life. I could not believe it. So I said, so he got off the phone and I stopped him. I said, okay. I said, I just got to know. I said, do you live at, and I rattled off, I don't want to say the address, but I rattled off the address, this little place there in South Tampa. And he said, yes, I do. And I said, well, you are not going to believe this. And I'm sure he didn't believe it. But because I told him, I said, when I was a kid, I lived in that particular house. And those woods behind your house, I set them on fire, not admitting that I did, but maybe I did. I may or may not have set those woods on fire when I was a kid. But I lived in that house, and he was like, that's shocking, that's amazing, that's a coincidence type thing. And so I asked him, I said, so I just got to know, have you ever experienced anything in that house, like poltergeist type activity, anything, noises or anything like that? And he said no. And so maybe it was just, I think poltergeist activity a lot of times is tied to younger children living in the house. And so it may have had something to do with that, because it was three of us, myself and my brother and my sister. And so it may have been part of our energy. I don't know, but he said nothing. And I don't really think he liked me that well, so he probably wouldn't have told me anyway. But anyway, I did ask, so but it was just kind of cool that it's talk about something that goes full circle and all the way around. Here I am as an adult, and I actually meet somebody who I'm working for, who lives in the exact same house. So I thought that was kind of cool. So that's my little ghost story.
That's
Now,
really cool.
yeah, which I guess is a good opportunity to, let's see here, to do some more magic.
Yay.
Yes. All right. Let's see. Let me get this. I'll just use five ESP cards.
Okay.
Yeah, 5 ESP cards. There. Goes down and out of the way. Okay, now it may flash or it may be a little shiny or whatever, but I'll move them around so you can see them. Now, in a moment, not yet, but in a moment, and just 5 cards. That's why I always carry. I love ESP cards. Yeah, and that's another thing too. I don't know about. I know that you like. I don't want to. I guess I can say marked. Everybody knows what marked cards are. I hate marked cards because I can never read them, so I can never see them. And to me, when there's a marked card, this is what you always see, where everybody's looking at the marking. So I don't use them. And as a matter of fact, if you'll notice that my ESP cards I carry it's plain white. These are the ones that Ben Blau gives, or that you get when you order Unphased.
Yeah.
So they're white, there's no markings on them. I know Ben Blau is a part of this group sometimes. And so shout out to him. What an incredible thinker he is as far as magical thinker.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, in a moment, I'm going to ask you to think about one of these symbols, just one. Now, I know what you're thinking already. You're thinking, but John, obviously, you have used some sort of psychological strategy and arranged these cards in a certain order to give yourself some kind of an unfair advantage. Maybe, Maybe I did. For example, the circle is in the center. Circle, center. Alliteration is fun. Phun. That's a Joel Bauer throwaway. Now, off to the right, the far right, we have a star. And then, so go ahead, take a good look, and make your decision now. And you don't get too long to look either. That's one of the rules. So at this point, you should have a symbol in mind. Is that right?
Yep.
Okay, good. Now, look right here. I'll come down here for a second. I would put them behind my back, but sitting in a chair. All right. So, Tommy, the question is yes or no? Do you believe that the symbol I am holding is the same one that you're thinking of? Yes or no?
No.
No. Very well, then.
No. Nothing against you. Nothing against you.
No, that's fine. Thank you for that vote of confidence. Okay, so, all right, that's fine. So, all right, so go ahead and share with the class, what is the symbol you're thinking of?
Wavy lines.
The wavy lines. We're going to talk about that in a moment. The wavy lines. So the question becomes now, is this the wavy lines? Well, that is the question, just not the answer. But that's okay, because it was absolutely essential that I removed this symbol and only this symbol, because the square acts as a magic wand. And when I pass it over the cards like this and give it a little tap, one symbol from all the others rises to the top. And that symbol, Tommy, is your wavy line. Now, you might recognize that as kind of a variation. I think it might be Neil Rutledge. I'm not sure, but it's kind of a variation of Di Burnett's 5-card force, which essentially there's a psychological force for one of the symbols, which magicians never pick, and you did not. Magicians always pick the wavy lines or the star. Now, regular people, the muggles, will actually go for the psychological force, because you've essentially ruled some things out. But anyway, that is found, I always like to point out my sources, that is found in the complete, it's up here, you can't see it, the Complete Invocation, that big giant book by Kaufman and Company or whatever. So I just love that book. And to talk about bizarre magic. Yeah, I mean, reading that book is like reading the manuscript to a Hammer horror film. Just amazing.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah, all kinds of great stories. Just brilliant. And this is one of them that's a little more modern, because I think it's Neil. I think it's, or not Neil, but Ned. I think it's Ned Rutledge's. And so, or it might even be Bernstein. Could be Bernstein.
It
But
could be.
there's and those are more modern. You know, that's like the only modern things in that book. Everything else is like the old gods and Cthulhu and all kinds of crazy stuff. It's awesome. There's these great exclamations in there, like Satan's teeth when something would happen. That book is amazing.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So we'll do another quick little ESP thing.
Okay.
Now this one, let's see. This is Ben Blau. He's not on, right? Good. This is Ben Blau's. It's actually out of Asymptotes right there. Asymptotes.
Great book.
Great book. So, well, you might be familiar with this. This is my version of it. Again, reworked a little different than how he does it, and only one of the phases. Now, so it goes like this: mind-to-mind communication works best when there's a person that's skilled as a sender and a receiver, two people, right? Now, I'm fairly good at both. So as long as you have some capacity, and I think that you do, we should have some success here. So all I'm going to do is, Paquito, I'm just going to move some cards back and just
how much coffee I've had.
Yeah, just going to move some cards from my left hand to my right hand, and at some point you just say stop whenever you like.
Okay, stop.
Right there? Okay. So here, I'll give you a choice now, because I like you. You can have the card in my left hand, or the symbol in my left hand, I should call it a symbol, or the one in my right hand. Which would you prefer, left or
One,
right?
one in your right hand.
My right hand. Okay.
Yep.
Now, here's the thing. There's a monitor there. I can't look at the monitor. So I'm going to show you. I don't know. Can you see it? Don't say anything.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You can? Okay, good. I'm going to set it down. Okay, good. Now I can look. Okay, good. Now, what mentalists, or what we all know, is that ESP cards have numeric associations. We know the circle is 1 and 2 and so on. But
Mm-hmm.
the lay public, or the muggles, they have no idea. Now, since I don't know what your symbol is yet, because I haven't read your mind and you haven't sent it to me, um, I'm going to have to assign it a number. So I'm just going to go through and show these to you one at a time. And at some point, you're going to see the matching symbol. And when you do, just remember the number. And I'll try to flash them a little bit so make sure you can see everything. Just remember the number when you see your symbol. So 1, 2, 3, and don't say anything when you see your symbol.
Mm-hmm.
4, hopefully, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. So at this point, you should have a symbol in mind, as well as a number.
Yep.
So I'm just going to go out on a limb here. Actually, before I do that, look right here, and I'm going to see if I'll just come down here for a second. Let's see if I can find your card. All right, I'm just going to set that right there, and we'll look at that in just a second. These out of the way. And okay. I don't know. We will see. Okay. All right. So for the first time, tell us, what was the symbol that you were thinking of?
Wavy lines.
The Okay, good. So the wavy lines. Yeah, okay. Yeah. I got that. I don't know. Can you see that? No, maybe not. Trust
No,
me, there are
I
wavy lines on here.
believe, I
Yeah,
believe
there are
you.
wavy lines. I got
Yeah.
here. And if I'm not mistaken, your number was 5, and
Yes.
this should be the matching wavy lines. Yeah. Now that's from Asymptotes. It's an awesome. I think it's an awesome trick
It
when performed by somebody who knows what they're doing.
is.
Now here's the thing: that particular routine, there's like 3 phases, and I usually only perform the 2 of them. That phase, and then he has another that actually uses the 8 leftover cards. But uh, because we're in this situation here, I'm just going to do something different, because I also, anytime, and this is just a part of the way I work, or the way I like magic, is anytime that I perform a piece that where something is set up in advance, and I'm not saying that I had some kind of a setup there, but maybe anyway, if something is set up, I also like to show, when because for the people that want to see the cards, hey, go ahead and mix them up. Let's try something else. Now we were trying mind-to-mind communication, so I'm going to try it again. And okay, and let's go with this one. Now I was trying to read your mind. This time I'm going to send. Well, let's see. How does this go? Yeah, I'm going to try to send you something, and you're going to read mine.
Okay.
So look right here.
Mm-hmm.
Now here's the thing. ESP works best on impulse. So when I snap my fingers, I don't know if you'll be able to hear it there, but when I snap my fingers, I want you to give me a number. I only have a few cards here. Just give me a number between 5 and 10. All right?
Mm-hmm.
What's that number?
8.
8. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now, here's the thing, Tommy. You could have said anything. You could have said any number. You said 8. I was trying to send you the wavy lines, which you seem to be so enamored with, and you got it.
Now, it's funny because I was thinking wavy lines.
It's a synchronicity. It's a coincidence, a meaningful coincidence. So awesome.
That's great. I love it.
Thank you. Now that is, I mean, it just basically uses the 5 to 10 ranging force, which I certainly won't explain, but you can find it on Eugene Berger's Penguin Live lecture. He does a great explanation. And usually if I see something like that, I say, how can I apply that to 10 ESP cards? And so it actually works perfect for 10 ESP cards in the sense of you can force, like if I want to force a particular symbol, in this case, I did. But at other times, but it doesn't even have to. They can shuffle them up, hand you the thing, and you just do work your magic. It's great. So anyway, yeah, that's that. And
it's a great book. And if anyone doesn't have that, you forget it. So, Ben Blau is a genius.
Yeah, I've got, you see here, let's see. I got Truth Fables also. That is a brilliant book.
Yeah.
I mean, I wish he'd write another book. I know he kind of like got out of magic a little bit, or sort of straight, or sort of got out of it for a bit. But I sure wish he'd get back in. And I understand he just did some performing recently, and because apparently that went pretty well. I'm hoping that'll give him the bug again, because I love what he puts out. Like my old white cards are starting to get yellowed. They're so old. I've had them for a while, and but I love them because they're not marked. There's no way you can mark them. They're blank.
Yeah.
They're starting to get marked now because they're getting old.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see here. Let me see what I got here before we go on. I do have another trick, of course. A couple things I wanted to mention. I do have a couple of giveaways. Now I've done a lot. Let's see here. I do have a couple of giveaways. I just want to make sure that I do that. If anybody is interested, and if you email me at jwkeever, Keever, that's jwkeever at gmail.com, I will send you a PDF of a trick that I'm about to do called, it's called the 3-card, I call it the 3-card miracle. It's called a bunch of, it's based on Stuart Judah's Lightning Strikes Thrice, which is just an amazing little number thing. And but it's not the version that you'll find in the Fulvis book. It's the one that Stuart Judah actually teaches. And when I found it, it's like a little blurb. It's like this. It's a little blurb in a book, which is nothing. And so, but I took it and I expanded it into like several pages, and I have it, and I'll just send it to you because I don't sell things, so I will send it to you. And if you want it, just say. And I also have another one that's based on something from, I don't know if you can see the book from here. No, you can't. I have Bob Wagner's Master Notebook of Magic, which is another great little kind of a sleeper book that came out in the 90s when L&L was at their height. And it's got a nice little piece in there called 1 to 10 or 1 to X, which is 1 to 10. And it had 4 phases. And so immediately I'm like, okay, one of those phases has got to go, too many phases. So it's 3 phases. And I took the part that makes the trick not work, and that is giving it to somebody, putting the cards in their hand and letting them do stuff. and I took that out of there, and now it works every time unless I screw it up, which it does happen occasionally. But anyway, it's a great trick, and I have that written up as well, and I'm happy to send that to anybody. And if we have time, I'll go and perform that too. I don't want to bore everybody with a magic show here, but I do have a couple of things I wanted to show you. So let me just do this. Now, sometimes I do this with business cards, but when I have blank cards, I want to do them with blank cards, because then I can take a business card, and that's for later. Okay, so here we go. Again, we're going to look at what's essentially a simple. Let me move this here. Can we see? Yeah, good. What's essentially a simple number trick, and I've given it a larger frame, which you'll see, and it works like this. I believe that going back to coincidence, I believe that coincidence is a scientific sounding word for something or a happening that's can't be explained. It's a deeper mystery. And so I have some cards here. Now, a coincidence is defined as a concurrence of events or circumstances without any apparent cause or connection. But we know what a coincidence is. It's like being at the right place at the right time, getting the wavy lines 3 times in a row, or finding one lucky penny after another. Now, the great psychologist Carl Jung said that the more frequently a coincidental event occurs, the more meaning it has. And of course, he turned these meaningful coincidences, as we all know, in synchronicity. So with that said, I'm going to take these little bits of paper here, and we're going to try to admittedly contrive to make some sort of coincidence, maybe even a meaningful coincidence, very possibly a synchronicity happen. So Tommy, I need a number from 1 to 20. What's that number?
19.
19. You realize I am going to have to add all this stuff up later. Okay, 19. Give me another one.
Whose fault is that now?
I'm ready. I'm ready to challenge.
1.
Bless you. Okay,
You're
one
welcome.
more. One more.
5.
Five.
5.
5. Okay. So we have 19, 1, and 5. Those are your numbers. Now, we're going to use your numbers, and we're going to create some new numbers, but we're going to use yours. So 19 and 1 is 20.
Mm-hmm.
20, you probably can't see it, but trust me,
Yeah.
I tell no lie. 19 and 5 is 24.
Mm-hmm.
24.
Mm-hmm.
And 1 and 5 is 6.
Yep.
6. Oh, you know what? I just had a thought. Now, mix them up just a little bit. All right. Put this over here. All right, I'm just going to lay these out in a row. Just like that. Okay, now, ordinarily, I would have, if you were here, I'd have all one of these back. You're not, so I'm just going to label them, and then we'll ask for something. So this is A, this is R, this is Z, this is G, sorry. This is A, this is B, this is C, this is D, this is E, and this is F.
Mm-hmm.
A through F. Pick a letter.
F.
F, okay. Now, you did not choose E, you chose F. So my question for you is, Would you like, I'll give you this choice. You can change your mind and choose E now, or you can keep F. Totally up to you. What would you like to do?
I'll take E.
There's always that percentage.
I'm easily influenced.
All right. Well, I'll give you one more choice now because perhaps that was too restrictive. So if you like, I can put this back and you can take any other card or you can stay where you are. What would you like to do?
I would like B. B as in boy.
Okay. B. All right. Let's see what we get. Okay, let's put that where we can see it on the camera here. We can see everything. All right, now I'm just going to duck these out of sight because this is a mystery after all. And we'll take the first one out, and it is a 6. 6. Then we'll bring out one. Let's see. I'll mix it around here a little bit. And this one is a mystery. You're not going to see what it is.
Okay.
You probably can't see the others anyway. Now, this one is a 1. We'll put the 1 over here, and we'll bring out a mystery next to it. And finally, we have a 5. So we have 6, a 1, and a 5. I'm looking for the connection here. Actually, 1 and 5 is 6, and then there's 6, so that's something. But here, if I turn this over, we have 6 and 19. That's 25. Here we have 24 and 1. That's 25. So we may have a coincidence. And here we have 5 and we have 20, 25. So we may have a coincidence. We do have a coincidence. We may have a meaningful coincidence, but do we have a synchronicity? Well, before we began messing with these numbers, I wrote something down. We have 25, 25, 25. And if you can see that, it does say 25. And that is some coincidence. Like that.
Yeah, I do.
Cool. Well, whoever wants it, it's free. I will send it to you.
Nice.
Time we got here. Oh, I guess we're coming up on the hour. I'll save the other one, but I will send you, whoever wants it, I will send them another trick, the one I was saying from the Master Bob Wagner's Master Notebook. It just uses 10 cards and one mysterious black envelope. It's all written up, and I'll send it to you. And it's at jwkeever@gmail.com. And please, if you get an opportunity, check out my newsletter. It is free, 100%. I don't sell anything in it. I have not monetized it. It's on Substack. It's coffeewithawizard.substack.com. Coffeewithawizard.substack.com. As a matter of fact, let me just
it's coffee with a wizard.
coffeewithawizard.com. Or sorry, coffeewithawizard.substack.com. I'll put it in chat. I'll put all of these things in chat.
Yeah, I put your email. I put the wrong. I put coffee with a wizard at substack.com, but
It's all in there. And let me put my address in too.
Perfect.
So and my email is okay. I think looks right. And there's my email address in there as well. I guess that's Gmail. It's hard for me to write typing over like that. Okay, good. Now, Tommy,
yes.
First off, this has been a blast. I got to relax a little bit more once I actually started doing some magic. I hope I didn't bore everybody to tears, and that the first part wasn't too painful to sit through. But I certainly enjoyed myself, and I cannot tell you how much I appreciate you reaching out. This was fun.
You know what? It seems like we all enjoyed it. I know I did, and I'm gonna have you come back. And because it turns out you are a very interesting guy.
Yes.
So,
a little callback to the beginning there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
This guy might be interesting.
But yeah, I would love to have you come back, and we can hang out a little bit
Sure.
after the show. So if you want to hang out, you're
Yeah.
more than welcome.
Cool.
But for right now, I'm gonna put you back in the green room.
All right. Well, I hope
So
everybody enjoyed it, and thank you all very much for
yeah,
allowing me
John, it was a
to
real
play.
pleasure. I feel
Thank you.
like I've gotten to know you a little better.
Cool.
That ghost story was awesome. I thought, I thought
True.
you, yeah, well, that's the
True.
thing.
Yeah.
That's the thing. When you said you had a ghost story, I thought it was going to be something made up for
No,
a bizarre.
not yeah, yeah,
But
not a
yeah,
premise of a
I,
real ghost story.
yeah, I have a number of true stories as well that I would love to talk to you about at some point.
Cool.
But yeah, that was marvelous.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And you definitely have to come back.
Thanks.
Yeah, well, wow, that was great. I mean, it was perfect for me because I could sit back and enjoy. You know, usually I have to keep the show going, but it was great. So I'm very happy about that. Next week we have another great guest. I gotta find a better word than guest. I mean, they are my guests, but I want to find a unique word. Next week we have the marvelous Terry Tyson, who is
Wow.
in many regards the godfather of bizarre magic. He's definitely an authority on bizarre magic, and I had him on my. I forget which one. I've had two other podcasts. I think it was on Magic. I don't remember, but I've been friends with him for almost a decade, maybe longer, and he'll be here. So I'm very happy about that as well. And as I always say at the end of the show, keep it strange, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
You've been watching Beyond Belief with your host, Tommy Burnett. Thank you to John Keever. See you next time.
Next week's guest is Terry Tyson, Saturday, March 21st at 4 p.m. Eastern Time.
Wow.
Yay.